Okay. All right.
Mark, can you
I
text
hear
me
the
the
music.
Twitch link?
I hear the music.
Let's go.
Welcome, everyone. We're here with Will Blackmon, the Super Bowl champ. He's in the OC. I'm in Tampa right now, and this is same-day weigh-in on Ring City, USA. We're going to preview all the fights today. It's a big fight day. We have Joe Smith against Maxime Blasov for the light heavyweight title on ESPN. We have Conor Benn, son of Nigel Benn, against Samuel Vargas on DAZN in the UK. And then we also have Showtime Championship Boxing in Connecticut with one of the hottest prospects in boxing, Jaron Boots Ennis, against Sergey Lipinets. So we're going to break all that down and more right now.
Yes, sir. What's happening, man? Hey, Mike, I'm excited, dude. I'm excited to be here. I'm ready to talk boxing. I've been waiting for this. This is my debut, so I'm ready to go, man. Talk to me.
Yeah, Will Blackmon, Will Blackmon, he knows a lot about boxing. Played in the NFL for a long time. Super Bowl champ, Will Blackmon. Played at Boston College. And I'm excited for you to show everyone your boxing knowledge. And, I saw you at the Jamel Charlo, Tony Harrison rematch in the OC. And I think people are going to be really impressed because you don't just have NFL knowledge, although I do love your NFL videos on Twitter. Some of the best NFL videos on Twitter.
No, it's cool, man, because what people don't know is we have a legit friendship. We actually go way back to London days. We were hanging out in London a couple years ago when I was living out there, and we linked up. And ever since then, we've been besties ever since, Mike.
That's right. That's right. I was in London for the Regis Prograis against Josh Taylor fight. That was an awesome fight. You were doing stuff for Sky Sports. I think the Rams were actually in town, and I knew I liked you because you told me anytime I want boxing news, Mike, I go to you. I don't know if it was true, but it won me over.
That's so funny. Listen, man. So what we got next, man?
Look, we have Conor Benn fighting today. He's pretty raw. Obviously, he gets a lot of shine because he's the son of Nigel Benn, the Dark Destroyer. So that's going to be in the UK on DAZN against Samuel Vargas. Samuel Vargas is a journeyman type, but he is by far the toughest test yet for Conor Benn. Vargas had a good fight against Amir Khan. He actually gave Khan some trouble, dropped Amir Khan, and he's fought a lot of guys. So, look, I think Conor Benn, I'm not sure how good he is just yet, but he is improving. He's raw. He has a lot of power, and he certainly looks the part. And most importantly, Will, he has that name.
Yeah, and the cool thing about Samuel Vargas, man, he has been in a lot of tough fights. As you mentioned, he did catch Amir Khan, but a lot of people caught Amir Khan. However, though, he went against a young savage in Ortiz, and it was a victim of that. So, I mean, this is another fight where Conor can truly display what he can do. He has really good footwork in terms of changing his angles. And this is a good fight for him to showcase that, because with Vargas, the one thing he doesn't do well, he does not move his head at all. But the tough thing is can he get him out of the ring? So this is another fight. I'm excited for Conor Benn because I think Conor, this is almost like Eddie Hearn's Ryan Garcia, right? This is his young gun that he's excited to show about. So yeah, I'm really fired up to see Conor Benn.
I like that. Eddie Hearn's Ryan Garcia. Yeah, Eddie Hearn is definitely banging the drum hard for Conor Benn. I think he sees those dollar signs with that name. Conor Benn, though, he has a lot of star potential besides the name. He talks a great game. He's a good-looking guy, and he has the right style. He's exciting in the ring. He goes for the knockout. And you're right, Samuel Vargas not the best fighter, but if he gets a knockout, that's impressive because not a lot of guys have knocked out Samuel Vargas. He is a tough guy, and Conor Benn is coming off a good performance. He beat Sebastian Formella in his last fight. Formella actually went the distance with Sean Porter. So did Conor Benn, but Conor Benn won all the rounds, shutout decision. So we'll see that, and that's going to be a ring walk around 6 p.m. Eastern on DAZN.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one, man. Who you got? Obviously, Conor. You picking?
Obviously, Conor. I just want to see how Conor looks. I want to see if he can get the knockout. Can he show those new tools that we're talking about? Is he a more polished fighter now? Because this isn't a guy who had a big extended amateur career. What is he going to look like right now? What do you want to see, Will?
Yeah, no, I definitely want to see him go for the knockout. The cool thing about him is that the further the rounds go, like, he does not get tired. He does not get tired. So I feel like, I've seen a couple of his fights. His power in the first was equally as effective in his power in later rounds. So I think he does get the knockout.
I think so too. And I'm curious, we have a lot of fighting sons. We've had Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., of course, probably the most.
That's my favorite, baby. Yo.
I mean, my favorite is that Chavez Jr. on 24/7 used to eat cereal in his underwear. But you look at the tail of the tape here, sticking on Conor Benn, and look, Conor Benn, right there you go, right there. He has the power. He has the tattoos. I think Ryan Garcia, though, is trying to catch up to Conor Benn in the tattoo department.
Is he? He has a long way to go. But the cool thing about Conor, man, is that, again, his style, like, I'm so used to, like, UK boxers being like calculated and really understanding the art. But the one thing I love about Conor, man, is that he fights. And I think that's what happens when you're the son of a boxer. Like, okay, it's wartime. Like, he'll go in there and fight a true war. So that's the only thing I can see where he might get caught if he just stops trading with Samuel Vargas. But at the end of the day, man, I think he's going to wipe him out.
Yeah, so looking at the tail of the tape real quick, Conor Benn 24, Samuel Vargas 31. Obviously, Conor Benn is undefeated. He has not been matched tough yet. And this is a welterweight fight. And obviously, welterweight, really hot division. So we have John Boots Ennis fighting tonight at welterweight. We also have another guy I really like, Will, in Montes Stanionis at 147. So Conor Benn's going to see if he can join that category. And we'll talk about that fight later in the show. But for now, you say Chavez Jr. is your favorite son. I'm going to go with Corey Spinks, the son of Leon Spinks. That's my favorite.
Well, yeah, if you're going like legit, like who's really good, then yes.
Hey, it's too late for you, Will. I already claimed Corey.
You can take it then. You got it. That's fine. Julio, let's go.
And Julio is going to be fighting in an exhibition, it looks like, and against Anderson Silva. So we'll see what happens there.
Oh gosh. That's dangerous. I hope Anderson is door kit.
Better be. But moving on, Will, to some a better fight, in my opinion. Joe Smith Jr. against Maxime Vlasov.
Hell yes.
Obviously, I like Joe Smith because we're both from Long Island. He's a blue-collar guy, construction worker. But Long Island aside, I'm so impressed with the way Joe Smith has improved. This is a guy a few years ago that was seen as just a plotter, a big puncher, and kind of a basic fighter. I think he's a lot better now. Against Aliter Alvarez last year, we saw him bouncing on his toe more, popping that jab, using his strength and his power more, knocked out Aliter Alvarez, actually ejected him from the ring. That was Joe Smith Jr.'s second ring ejection because I was there ringside when he knocked Bernard Hopkins.
Listen, I don't want to hear about him knocking senior citizens out the ring, man. Like, I don't want to hear about that, man. But no, I agree. The Alvarez, that was a massive win because what do you have, like 4 straight knocks, something crazy. Like, he was on a tear with Butte and Pascal and Sergey, right? And for Alvarez to do that, it was such an impressive win and literally put all the Russians in the light heavyweight on notice because they're the ones at the top of the food chain in that area. So I'm really excited to see what Joe Smith done, man. I just love his set. I love how calm he is, and he just throws bombs, bombs where you don't expect it. So I'm excited for this fight.
That's a good way to put it, Will. You're right. He does throw some sneaky shots. He used to be more 1-2 straightforward. Now he really blinds you with that jab, throws the big right hand behind it. I'm thinking Joe Smith, but you talk about the Russians at the top of the division. Obviously, there's guys like Arthur Beterbiev, Dmitry Bivol.
He's surrounded. Joe Smith surrounded.
He's surrounded. And Maxime Vlasov is another guy from the Eastern Bloc. And I think he's underrated. He flies under the radar, but he's a former cruiserweight. He's a big guy. He fought he lost to Krzysztof Gowacki at cruiserweight, but he's a big guy. He's powerful and he's very awkward. I think he's like a plus 300 dog, but I think he's a live dog in there. Now we're going to look at the tail of the tape real quick. We have, obviously, Joe Smith is the younger guy. And, Joe Smith is a younger guy. He's a more powerful guy. Maxime Blasov, again, he's a much bigger guy at former cruiserweight. He has the height and 3-inch high advantage at height. And again, he's awkward. So
yeah, but that's the key thing. He's awkward. And I feel like sometimes with awkward fighters, it's in Joe Smith's advantage because he's going to stalk you down. So this might be a situation where you start moving a lot and then that awkwardness can get worn out, in terms of like the power that Joe Smith has. So, I mean, there's a chance like, Max might be able to outbox him, but, we'll see. I'm going to pick Joe Smith in this one.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to pick him by late knockout. I think it'll be a late one. And now we're going to take
a late knockout.
A late knockout. Yeah, I don't think it'll be early. I think Blasov.
You always want a knockout. Every time I see your takes, you always want a knockout. You think everyone's going to get knocked out, bro.
I like knockouts, man. That's what the fans want to see.
Who are your top 10 light heavyweights? You got them? I
got them right here for us. All right. So Better BF, number 1. I don't think anybody would argue that, right? Dimitri Bivol, number 2. I think that's pretty solid as well. Hard to debate that. Joe Smith Jr., number 3. That one's pretty firm as well. Then it gets a little tricky. Now we're getting into some chaos here because the light heavyweight division, honestly, Will, is one of the worst in boxing. It's top heavy, but this is a bad division. This is not your 175-pound class with Roy Jones Jr. and Antonio Tarver and Glenn Johnson.
But isn't it cool? Isn't it cool that everyone could beat everyone? Don't you like that though?
I do like that. It's kind of like 154. 154 is deep, and you're right. Everyone could be anyone. That doesn't make it fun, but it's kind of top heavy, like I said. But yeah, I guess we're going to see more of that tonight. We have Sergey Kovalev at number 4. Kovalev is obviously at the end now. He was supposed to fight Bektomir Melkruziev in January. He got popped for a PED. We don't know when we're going to see Kovalev again.
Yeah, I mean, ever since that Andre Ward fight, man, I think he just lost all strength and power, and it's just been a tough hill for him to climb back up.
Andre Ward took his soul, you might say, but Kovalev.
Hey, so now since we're talking about light heavyweight, let's go up a weight, man. Let's go to the big boys. Who do you like in the light heavyweights? The heavyweights. Talking about that.
We have a lot of heavyweight prospects fighting tonight on the ESPN undercard. We have Gerard Big Baby Anderson. We just saw a picture of him there. That's my favorite by far. I think he's the real deal. He had a really impressive knockout in the bubble last year. There it is right there. Boom.
Yeah, I think he's just you know what it is for me is he's really athletic, and that's why, when we talk at the top of the food chain, that's why I like Tyson Fury, just how athletic he is. Same thing with, Ruiz, like how athletic he is. I think that's a huge thing because even back in the day, all the heavyweights were super athletic like that. Nowadays, all those big, tall boxers are supposed to be boxing. They're playing basketball and other sports now, right? Instead of boxing. So I love the fact that, I do like Jared Big Baby too. Keep going. My fault.
And for those of you watching, don't scoff at Will when he says Andy Ruiz is athletic because that guy is a real athlete. I've seen.
Yeah, go watch his training and his footwork and how he moves. Like looks are deceiving just because he got a cool gut, watch him move and do all these athletic ladder drills, like same drills that I would do when I would perform and train. So yeah, super athletic.
But then, so also we have Sonny Kanto fighting tonight. I am not a fan of him at all. I think he has a
you're not a fan of Sonny?
Not a fan of Sonny. It's nice that he's from Philadelphia and all. Not a fan yet. I think he's limited. And another guy we have tonight is Efe Ajagba. Ajagba, also not a big fan of. He's Ajagba's a guy I think who's going to get a lot of opportunities because he's big. He looks the part. Right. He's a big puncher. And he's going to be in a lot of fun fights because he doesn't have a great chin. And that fight, Will, that we were talking about earlier where I saw you, he fought against, I think it was Kuvansu on the undercard and got dropped hard. So...
No, that was good. That was a fun fight. Kalides, that's his name.
Kalides, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great fight. But yeah, the one thing about Efe is he's literally like Rock'em Sock'em, right? He stands there and he just boom, 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 stiff shots. But like he'll get a lot of play simply because, like you said, he is entertaining. He will get hit. At the same time, he will hit back. So he'll be in a lot a lot of entertaining wars on TV. But yeah, big baby, man. I like to see him actually against somebody like FA who's going to stand there and definitely hit him back.
You know what I want to see, Will? We know that the other big baby, Jarrell Miller, is going to come back from suspension at some point. That's just the way boxing is. We need Jared Big Baby Anderson against Jarrell Big Baby Miller.
Who's the real big baby?
Who's the real big baby? That's the bill. That's
we need to get a big baby belt. Just a belt or a trophy. And for real, who's the real big baby?
I'm sure Mauricio Suleiman can find that for small.
Yeah, dude, they got like 800 belts, don't they? Goodness gracious.
We should get one for you. You could fight somebody on Triller.
Man, oh man, that's funny.
Yeah, speaking of undefeated heavyweights, Will, we have a great matchup coming up on Ring City, USA on April 22nd. It's going to be Steven Shaw against Jermaine Franklin. And it's going to be at West Point Military Academy in New York. It's the first fight in New York in over a year. I love this fight. It's a rare fight because it's two undefeated Americans, and these guys are both real prospects right now. Who do you like in that one?
Yeah, I like Franklin, man. I just feel like there's just something about him, especially with his knockouts. He had 10 of them in under 5 rounds, right? So I really like his power in this one. So, but it's the heavier, right? Anyone can get hit, anyone can get knocked down anytime.
All right, well, we're looking forward to that fight April 22nd on NBC Sportsnet, and we'll be right back after this break.
It's not a question of who's the A side or who's the B side. It's a question of who wants it more. Who has the most to win? The most to lose? Who will fight tough? Who will fight anyone, anywhere, anytime? Welcome to Thursday night. Welcome to Ring City, USA. Thursday night. Welcome to 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 Thursday night. Welcome to
everybody, we're back with same day weigh-in. I'm Mike Coppinger. This is Super Bowl champion Will Blackmon. We have lots more to get into right now.
Hold on, Mike. Super Bowl champion and NFL wine guy. Do not leave my wine.
We gotta get a promo code, Will.
So listen. So for football, I go to Adam Schefter for stuff. For boxing, I go to you. You have all the stories. You have all the sources. So in this segment, it's sources say, okay? So there's a lot of things that we need to know as people. Sources say Ryan Garcia versus Javier Fortuna. How close is that, or is that even true that's happening?
All right, well, yeah, let's get into that right now. Ryan Garcia, Javier Fortuna, they have both signed the contracts. That's completely done deal. That's going to take place in July. They're looking for a date, and I was told either Los Angeles or Las Vegas, and one possibility is Bank of California Stadium, where LAFC plays in LA. So that would be really cool for Ryan Garcia. And look, I love this fight because Javier Fortuna, for those who haven't seen him, he's tough, he's rugged, he's awkward, and it gives Ryan Garcia a second straight tough opponent, but it's a different style. Yes, he's a southpaw like Luke Campbell, but he's a lot more awkward, he's a lot more different. And I think that's so important for a developing fighter.
Yeah, Javier, the one thing he's going to stand there and fight. He's going to trade, no question about it. So this is really important for Ryan Garcia, where he needs to be first with that special quick check hook. You know, that's something that's going to be key for him in this fight. So I think this is great. I'm excited. I had no idea like they did sign the contract like you mentioned. So yeah, this is going to be super fun. That'd be really cool to have an outdoor. They probably might go for that, especially with what's going on nowadays, an outdoor arena.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. And I think Javier Fortuna is a live dog. I'm excited to see the odds. I mean, I'm not picking Fortuna, but he can punch, he can box, and he doesn't mind giving you an elbow on the inside, a headbutt. It's going to be I think an eye-opening experience for Ryan Garcia. Hopefully not literally, though, with Javier Fortuna's head.
Yeah, the Robert Easter fight was funny, man, because there were so many things that happened after the bell. So if you guys don't know, just go rewatch that fight. You're going to see a lot of crazy. Sometimes it looks like, Fortuna could have won that fight, but there were just so many awkward things that he's just almost like some of the things that Sean Porter can like bother you with, just real grimy and gritty. So yeah, this is going to be a good fight.
Yeah, can't wait for that. And look, Ryan's one of the rising stars, so I think he's going to win, and we're going to see what it looks like.
Okay, so sources say that actually two of my favorite fighters, but one of my favorite fighters of all time, Pacquiao versus Terrence Crawford. Please tell the people that this is going down.
I'm not so sure it is, Will. I don't want to deliver bad news, but there's no deal yet. It was looking like Abu Dhabi. And let's be clear here. When we're talking about two volatile variabilities, we have Manny Pacquiao, who's connected seemingly every fight under the sun. That's one variable. Then we have the Middle East. And Bob Arum's been talking about doing fights in the Middle East for like 15, 20 years now, and it hasn't happened for him. So Abu Dhabi was being looked at. Now I'm told they're looking at Qatar. They're scrambling. They're looking at June 5th. I don't know if it's going to happen. And the only way it is going to happen is if they give a big site deal from the Middle East to make it,
right.
We're looking for a lot of money. It's Manny Pacquiao. He doesn't want to fight.
Is this a fight you think Terrence Crawford needs in his career?
I think so badly, yeah. Well, I mean, Terrence Crawford, he's a great fighter. He's 33 years old, though. Who has he fought? Nobody. And Terrence gets mad at me when I say it, but it's not really a knock on him. It's not a knock on his ability. Terrence Crawford, one of the best pound-for-pound talents in the sport. He has fought absolutely no one. What's his best win, Will? With Victor Postal?
Sure. But he dismantled this. I mean, maybe that's why, because he destroys everyone. I understand that part. So we'll see, because he's been, talking about the Spence fight and the Porter fight. So hopefully something happens. So are you going to Abu Dhabi? You probably are going to go to Abu Dhabi if it's there.
I mean, I would probably be there. I'm assuming if it happens, I'd love to go. I was in Saudi Arabia for the Andy Ruiz-Joshua rematch. We got Rowdy and Saudi, Will. So
Rowdy and Saudi.
I always thought that should have been the official title of the fight. I don't know why Eddie didn't go with it. I expect better from Eddie Hearn.
No, that was good.
But
okay, so listen up. So lastly, sources say, now we're going to talk about, speaking of Anthony Joshua, we're going to talk about him in the Tyson Fury fight that we all are hoping for. We saw Tyson Fury. He posted something on Instagram saying, TikTok. Does that mean he's waiting on them to sign their part of the contract? What does that mean?
Yeah, good question, Will. So, look, this has been a long saga. Fury Joshua has been in the works for seemingly over a year now. And the holdup has been COVID, really, because they want a big site fee to bring in all that money. When Eddie Hearn did Andy Ruiz against Anthony Joshua, that was a $60 million site fee in Saudi Arabia. I'm told they're trying to get 120, maybe 150 million this time around. But obviously, you need no COVID restrictions. You need people to be able to travel from the UK, right? That's what Saudi Arabia wants. They want tourism coming in. So where we're at right now, Will, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, they're going to be going through some of the site fee offers that Eddie Hearn and MTK secured over the weekends. And what Fury's referring to when he says TikTok, is that Fury and Joshua did sign contracts to fight each other, but that was a month ago. And it was all contingent on a site deal. And it had a 30-day deadline connected to it to get the site deal done. So I think that deadline is Sunday. And if not, then the contract they signed is null and void. And we're back to square one.
Well, listen, just then bring it to Texas. We're wide open here in Texas. So bring it out here. So that's our wonderful segment called Sources Say. Well, Mike Coppinger, we got to get some cool graphics here with Sources Say. I like that, man. Shout out to Mark Ortega. That's cool.
Yeah, graphics look awesome. And we do apologize, though, for the technical difficulties today. Thank you for sticking with us. It's our first time, but the graphics are sharp. And I love that Ring City music. It's stuck in my head always.
All right, we'll be back. Here we go.
All right, we're talking about practice here. This is exhibition fights. This is the new wave. It's all the rage right now in boxing for some reason. It got kicked off with Mike Tyson against Roy Jones Jr. Now we've been talking about Tyson versus Holyfield. Holyfield, though, that's not happening, I'm told. That's dead. So
I don't want it to
happen
happen
down the road. Good, neither do I. Why? Why watch that?
For what? I know it's like, I don't know. What is the show? What is that movie? Grudge Match, right? Is that what it is with De Niro and Stallone? Like, come on, man. That's what this is. It's not exhibition. These are all grudge matches. Like, my goodness gracious. It's
good
I don't
reference,
know.
Will. I've actually never seen that movie. I got bad reviews. I'm going to be honest. Mark knows this about me. I'm a review snob.
Are you really?
I go Rotten Tomatoes. And it has below like a 60%. That's a no-go for me.
Are you serious? But you don't even know those people.
I don't, but you know what? I hope people trust me for boxing news. I'm trusting them on the movie reviews, Will.
No, so it's almost like so I'm assuming with wine, you buy according to the scores. Is that how you are?
Hey, if you tell me the wine is good, I trust you. You're the wine MVP.
Even if I got an 89 score, you're gonna be like, I'll buy because Will said it's good.
Well, I'm not bougie like you. I go to Trader Joe's. If I see
which is fine. Anyhow, get to the next fight, man. What we got? Cotto Marquez.
Miguel Cotto against Juan Manuel Marquez. That would have been an awesome fight if they fought in their primes or anywhere near their primes in a real fight. This is an exhibition, and it's already announced for June 12th with both Florida and Texas.
I'm not mad at this fight, though. I'm not mad at this fight. I'm not mad because it's almost gonna be like if you really appreciate like good pitching in baseball, right? If you appreciate just good art, technical stuff, you're not going to get all kinds of crazy flashy stuff. You're going to get the perfect jab, the perfect hook, the perfect feint, the perfect body shot. You're going to get all that stuff. So I think it'll be cool to check it out. I think it'll be fun for that one.
I think that's a great way to put it. If you take it for what it is, and it's not a real fight, but this is two guys making some money, just showing their skills, which is what the exhibition really is all about. Why not? I mean, Marquez, he has some pretty punches. I was there ringside when he knocked out Manny Pacquiao.
I don't want to hear about this. Let's go. I'm going to the next topic because I do not want to hear about when I thought I witnessed, the worst. I literally thought I witnessed. My wife and I, we were at our buddy's house, and when I saw Manny lay down like that, I was like, "Wow, he's not getting up." Anyhow, I don't want to talk about that. Speaking of Manny, like you said, everyone is linked to Manny Pacquiao. We got Morales Barrera 4. Talk to me about that. Is that legit?
That is legit. That is happening. Sorry, that's not happening. I take it back. What's actually happening is Marco Antonio Barrera is going to have an exhibition against Jesus Soto Carras, the Mexican journeyman action fighter. That's going to happen. That's already been announced with a press conference. Whether Morales fights Barrera down the road or something, I don't know. But for now, it's going to be Barrera and Jesus Soto Carras. But since everyone's getting in on the fun, I'm sure it will happen at some point.
Right. Okay, this one is interesting. We got Papa Chavez Sr. versus Camacho Jr. Is that going down?
That is going down as well. Papa Chavez, the great. I don't care what anyone says. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. can still kick a lot of asses, even at this age. I would not mess with that guy.
So, no, I would not mess him anyway. I almost feel like, especially, I think it was when he was getting ready for Sergio Martinez, his son Julio, and I feel like his dad wanted to beat up his own son sometimes. Is there? Which one are you most excited about out of all these exhibition fights? Like, which one are you? I'm assuming the Cotto one, if anyone.
It's definitely Cotto Marquez. I mean, Marquez is one of my favorite fighters of all time. And to see him in the ring again, the way you put it, I think was really nice. Just to see his skills again will be nice. And he stays in great shape. I'm excited for that one. Taking it for what it's worth.
That's the key. No, Cotto does stay in fantastic shape. Actually, we shared the same trainer and Gavin McMillan. And what Cotto did change later in his career is that he actually entered training camp at his fight weight so that he can actually work on technique. So you're right. He always stayed in shape.
And real quick, we're going to say on this day in 2004, Layman Brewster stopping Vladimir Klitschko. Will, I remember where I was when this happened. I was in my grandma's apartment in Brooklyn, and Man, that was crazy because Vladimir Klitschko had every excuse under the sun. That was supposed to be a routine title defense. He said he had a bad massage. He got his water drunk.
Listen, that's legit. A bad massage. I'm telling you, listen. Sometimes if they press too hard, it releases all these toxins that go to your brain and you just can't.
I mean, Will, level with me. You're a professional athlete. What is it about guys who just can't take a loss? Why do they make excuses up in boxing?
Listen, here's the thing. Either I didn't prepare well enough or that guy was just better that day. So I never make excuses.
Yeah, and then also on that card, we had my favorite fighter of all time, Zab Judah, was upset by Corey Spinks in a welterweight championship fight. And Corey Spinks actually was trained by Buddy Shaw. He also is the grandfather of Steven Shaw, who's going to be fighting Jermaine Franklin on Ring 2 USA April 22nd. So fun little fact.
Yeah, I love all these connections.
6 degrees of separation. It's like Kevin Bacon. And with that, we'll be right back after this break.
Welcome to Thursday night. 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 Welcome.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to Same Day Weigh-In on Ring City Twitch. We're excited to break down now. Big fight tonight. One of my favorite fighters right now in the sport, Jaron Boots Ennis, and he's fighting Sergey Lipinets. And this is a massive step up for Jaron Ennis. I mean, he's fought really nobody, just been fighting developmental type fights. But I think he's a can't-miss future star. He has everything. He's strong. He has big power. He's fast. He's fundamentally sound. And in Lipinets, he's fighting a guy who gave Mikey Garcia a pretty tough fight. And I think he's going to test Ennis tonight. But first, we're going to start right now with the chief support bout, Iamontis Stanionis. We see him right here on the screen fighting Thomas Delorme. And Will, like Ennis, this is a big step up for Stanionis. But I think he's going to take care of Delorme. I think he's going to grind him down. And you guessed it, he's going to get the stoppage, Will.
Yes. Listen, I'm going to call Stanionis. I'm going to call the Lithuanian Danny Garcia. That's who exactly who he reminds me of, man. He just sits there and stalks you and just throws absolute heat. And I will say I agree. He is definitely going to get the stoppage. He has obliterated his last 4 opponents. I'm excited to watch this dude fight, man. So yeah, definitely. I agree with you. Stoppage for the Lithuanian Danny Garcia.
I like that. The Lithuanian Danny Garcia. We need that to take off on Twitter. We're going to start a revolution. But yeah, for anyone who hasn't seen Stanionis, trained by Freddie Roach, 12-0, 9 KOs. And in his last out, he stopped Justin Deloach in 9 rounds. Deloach, a pretty good fighter. Thomas Delorme, though, is a better fighter. Well, I feel old now, even though I'm only 34. I can remember the days when Thomas Delorme was a hot prospect. We thought he was going to be a champion, a future star. Same kind of thing we're talking about with Ennis and Stanionis. It just never happened for Delorme. Now he's at the point where he's really a gatekeeper. He's coming off a clear loss, but it was competitive against Jamal James. That was on PBC on Fox.
Yeah.
And I think he has something left still, but Delorme just never realized his potential. He's a gatekeeper now, and he's a legit gatekeeper. What do you want to see though?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely walking it into a metal wall right here, man, and against Daniel. So I definitely wanted to see him. He's going to have to truly, outbox him and do not get trapped on the ropes, do not get trapped on the corner, because those things are coming furious, and those hits are coming super, super strong and fast. So again, I got the Lithuanian Danny Garcia for the knockout.
All right, tell me right now, tell all the watchers, the viewers, buy or sell. Will Stanionis, the Lithuanian Danny Garcia, win a world championship?
Well, I'm going to buy it, being that there's about, 8 vacant belts in the welterweight division. So hopefully he can get one of those things. So I believe, excuse me, I believe he'll get a belt.
I'm going to
buy buying it?
I'm buying high on him. I mean, I think he's going to be, not only is he going to be a future champion, I think he's going to be a pound for pound guy at some point. I think he's that good. And, those Freddie Roach guys don't mess around. They train, they're always in great condition, and they're train hard. And speaking of future pound for pound guys, we have Jaron Boots Ennis. This guy, there's just no way he's not a pound for pound guy. If he's not, something went terribly wrong. But man, he's stepping way up. He hasn't even fought a gatekeeper, and now he's fighting a legit contender and Sergey Lipinets tonight on Showtime. And his 26-0, 24 knockouts. It's crazy to hear him have that many fights without fighting anybody, but he is only 23 years old. And, you mentioned Danny Garcia before. Ennis could be the next big champion from Philadelphia.
Look at that. See, I'm telling you, man. I like Jared Ennis, man. He just has incredible footwork, incredible just like ring mastership. Like all that stuff he does is awesome. I love just how accurate he is, almost like a Keith Thurman. He has really incredible footwork, like a Loma, and he's a real fighter. Even though he does all these things technical, like you see a lot of guys they move well, but he will sit there and really fight and go for it. But Lipinets, man, he's dangerous. It's like that one point where everyone was afraid of Ruslan, Provodnikov. It's kind of like that. Like, man, he's that type of fighter where he will definitely get you and really try to pummel you. He has a little bit better defense than Ruslan, but he's that type of fighter. The only disadvantage I would say is that he doesn't have such a great reach, so that where it could be Boots' advantage in that.
Yeah, that's a great point. Although it's hard to have worse defense than Ruslan Provodnikov, but I'll never forget his classic war with Timothy Bradley. Lipinets, I think he's one of the most underrated fighters in boxing. I mean, he gave Mikey Garcia a real tough fight, bloodied his nose. He's a former kickboxing champion from Kazakhstan, and he just comes really hard. He is coming off a draw against Custio Clayton, but I think Clayton's probably a lot better than people realize. I won't hold that against him. And he is one of my top 10 welterweights in the world right now. So let's take a quick look now, Will, at those rankings at 147. Obviously,
you see it right there.
Divisions in boxing.
You see the reach right there. It just stands out. It's just, where are we at right now?
There we go. Right there you have it. My top 10 rankings. I'm sure if you don't like them, you can argue with me on Twitter.
I love that you have Manny Pacquiao at 3. I love that. Thank you very much. See, respect that man, even though he's 43. Yeah, come on now.
Pacquiao 43. Pacquiao will still beat, I think, most of the guys in the world. I know he hasn't fought in 2 years since Keith Thurman, but hey, look, Pacquiao still one of the best. Errol Spence number 1. I know some people might have Crawford number 1, but there's no even debating their resumes.
But it's what he did to Keith Thurman. Like he fought some incredible people and have won convincingly, and is what he did. Should have been unanimous, but is what he did in that fight. I like Virgil Ortiz, man. He is so dangerous. It's almost like what Berlanga's doing in his division, just wiping dudes out. He's 16 for 16 right now in his fights. So yeah, I like him up and coming. So I always love welterweight, man. It's always a fun division. It's always the most exciting for me.
Welterweight division, a lot of fun. I want to see a Keith Thurman Sean Porter rematch. I don't know why we haven't got that yet. That was a great fight when they met a couple of years ago. Thurman barely won. Let's run that back. Neither guy has a date scheduled, and that's the problem with a lot of these welterweights. How many of these guys actually have fights scheduled? We know Spence is probably going to be fighting for Dennis Ugas this summer. I like that fight. I think Ugas is another very underrated fighter, and I actually thought he beat Sean Porter. Boots Ennis, not there yet, but if he beats Lipinets tonight as expected, he's certainly going to be in that top 10. And I'm wondering, how many fights do we think until we see Boots win a title?
I'm going to give him 3 fights. I'm gonna give him a 3 fights simply because I think if he wins convincingly versus Lipinets, I can see, the Garcia fight would be interesting. The Ugas fight would be interesting. Even the Danny Garcia fight would be interesting too. Just because I mentioned I see Boots in that prime, early Keith Thurman type of form with way better defense. So I could see him really taking on anyone in that bottom half of the top 10.
I think that sounds just about right, Will. 3 fights.
Listen, I need you to, out of the young fighters, right? I need you to rank Boots, Ortiz, and Stanionis. Where you got them?
That is tough. That is tough. I think all 3 guys are going to be future stars.
I don't want to hear that. I need you to rank them.
All right.
Okay, we know they're going to be future stars. I need you to rank them. Let's go.
All right. Put me on the spot. I'm going to go Boots number 1, Virgil number 2, and Stanionis number 3. Although I think that there's really not a lot of margin between them. Boots, though, to me is just the most complete fighter. Ortiz, we saw against Maurice Hooker that he still needs to work on some things, probably his defense, but he's still in a really good spot right now, and they're all developing. I'm going to go Boots 1, Ortiz 2, and Stanionis 3.
Bro, we just faced off like John Travolta just now. I love technology, man. We literally just faced off, So listen, man, that was awesome. I would say I would go the exact same order: Boots, Ortiz, Stanionis. I just love Virgil. Virgil Ortiz is so funny because he literally is like when we talked the other day, I was playing Fight Night, and I think you hold the right bumper to throw a power shot, and literally that's all he does is just throw just deadly, violent anger, almost like you got too many bills at your house punches.
I like that. You punch like you fucking need the money. Excuse me, sorry. But anyway.
Wow.
You punch like you need the money and you got to pay your bills. That is the way he punches. And that's the way we're going to see a lot of these fights tonight on Showtime, DAZN, and ESPN. And we thank you all so much for joining us today for this first edition of Same Day Weigh-In. I'm Mike Coppinger. This is Will Blackmon, Super Bowl champion and the NFL wine guy. Catch you next time, and thank you for joining us on Twitch. And don't forget, before we go, Ring City USA returns April 22nd on NBC Sports Network with an intriguing clash of undefeated American heavyweight prospects, Jermaine Franklin and Stephen Shaw. That's going to be at West Point Naval Academy in New York.
It's not a question of who's
Thanks again for joining us. Catch you all next
who's
time
the B
on
side.
Ring City USA.
It's a question of who wants it more. Who has the most to win? The most to lose? Who will fight tough? Who will fight anyone, anywhere, anytime? Welcome to Thursday night. Welcome to Ring City USA.